Welcome to the Digital Renegade Podcast. I'm your host, Dashing Rogue, and with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
That does it! Huh? That's the seventh time I've caught you scrapping this month's finale. Know what that means?
The other kids just aren't getting it?
Oh God, is that from Recess?
Yes.
Oh God, it's fitting, isn't it? It's fitting that we have to take. It's funny you bring that up because I have seen some weird shit in AI lately. I actually believe the AI is the fulfillment of Rule 35. Do you know what Rule 35 is, Luke?
Unfortunately, yes.
Oh God.
For those who don't know, can you explain it?
So there are these. This is old internet culture. This is legend stuff. This is stuff of legends. Okay, this is going back to before the time of the boomers and the time of the dinosaurs. Okay, this is going back to fucking before censorship and like the actual Wild West of the internet. So we have these rules on the internet, but one of the rules is called Rule 34. What is Rule 34, Luke?
If it exists, there's porn of it.
No exception. Rule 35 is basically, if it doesn't exist, it is your obligation to make it exist. There's drawing nudes to get down like the anatomy of a female or a male subject, like when you're doing like art and stuff like that. I don't need to see half this shit because like sometimes you want to copy an art style, right? You want to copy, let's say, the art style of like early Disney as opposed to modern Disney, let's say, or DreamWorks or what have you. I don't need to see any of this type of crap. And it really honestly is spooky shit. It really is. But at the same time, like, you can't stop it. But anyhow, going back to Gretchen Grundler, because so much of our life fucking does.
Oh, no.
Oh no. What?
What do you know? What is this you've heard about Gretchen Grundler?
Oh, Gretchen Grundler. Fucking Gretchen Grundler, Luke. I legitimately... There's many people in this world, but we can't... But, there's also other rules on the internet, like Rule 63, right? You know what Rule 63 is, Luke?
What's that?
Oh, no, Luke!
Civitai is just a wonderful site, and this is the first thing that popped up on it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, AI is some of the best stuff I've ever seen in my life.
This is impressive. I want to animate this. But actually, I'm in the middle of animating something else, so we'll have to wait till later.
In a lot of ways, AI has kind of become the artistic form of Ready Player One, hasn't it? It's like the medium of it has a little bit of that DNA of all of our culture combined, because that's what it is.
That's what it's kind of like. I mean, it has basically computerized imagination, because imagination takes what exists and turns it into something new, and some sites are really good at it.
Yeah, and well, let me just say this: in my quest in the AI. Have you gone to Civid AI? I think it's called.
Yes,
right?
I check it every time to build up some points.
Yeah, honestly, I would contribute to it, but I don't think I would be contributing anything useful to humanity.
Well, no, most people on there don't, because if your filter is open to all things, every other image is an inappropriate image.
It is literally fuck fucking Pornhub or Xvideo. This place is where it's at, and unfortunately,
I just clicked on the image lineup, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 images, and only 2 of them don't have XXX on them.
Oh my God. Oh man. I'll drink to that shit. But Gretchen Grundler, here we go.
Oh no, now what?
Play it.
Play. What's this?
All right, everyone. CrowdStrike is getting sued by its shareholders, actually, now because of the enormous data outage, their IT failure that happened a couple of weeks ago. This has taken down air travel. It's taken down numerous other services. It was one of the largest global IT outages, actually, that I think that we've seen. Link in the description archive, of course, though. Delta is complaining about them. Their leader, I think CEO or CFO, was weighing in and saying, look, you caused enormous amounts of financial damage to us, and we're pissed at you. I would be pissed, too. By the way, I just wanted to weigh in on Delta. I actually always use Delta when I fly, and I'm glad that I came back to the US when I did, because if it was 2 days later...
I always use Southwest. I don't know. Like a Delta is like bougie to me. Does that make any sense? I don't know much, but like I've always said Southwest because I wanted to go on JetBlue.
Hmm.
Do you remember JetBlue, Luke?
A little bit.
That's what Elon Musk has to start doing. He has to start like if you're listening to this, Elon, I want like G5 Gulf streams for like everybody. Gulf streams for everybody. Like fuck the climate change deniers and fuck the climate change fuckers.
Well,
I want
everyone
Gulf
knows,
Stream
come on, everyone
private
knows
jets for everybody.
Everyone knows climate change is a fascist lie anyway. So let's just move on to capitalism again.
Let's actually seriously, like I foresee in my lifetime we can have a lot of cool shit. I mean, we've already have stuff from fucking the 90s like VR, and now we have fucking, AI. We literally are living in a cyberpunk, we're living in cyberpunk,
And
not
no one's
dystopia
doing-
or utopia.
And no one's doing anything interesting with it yet. Maybe that's what our calling.
Well, it's funny you should bring that up because here's the thing, Luke. Cyberpunk is not always about technology, but it's how people use technology, right? So, like, look at BDs, right? Do you know brain dances in Cyberpunk, right?
Remind me?
So brain dances are basically they're recording the sensory, like your brain functions, right, while you're doing something, and then they could play it back for the same person, or a different person rather. So you could experience what it's like to like score with a beautiful woman or something like that, or you could experience what it's like to be killed, essentially.
So it's
right.
I see. So it's basically like the more extreme and tame versions of anything, like the VR headsets from Demolition Man.
Yep. You could feel it though. That's the thing. You could feel their emotions. You could feel what it's like. So like there are women in Cyberpunk who literally are just chromed up, and they basically have like active camos that they can be whatever they want. They could look like whatever the person wants them to look like. Custom tailored dolls, essentially, for people. But
although I'm skeptical of that possibility because. I mean, simulation will never because still is miles away from equaling the same thing, though.
Yeah, and at the same time, let's not kid ourselves. The thoughts the thoughts aren't going to get into it. Okay, they legitimately are they have it really good right now, economically, and let's just say the whole sanctions on Russia, and we'll get into that later on. That has really affected the thoughts' purchasing power. Let's just say, keep going.
I would have been stuck. I would have been stuck at Schiphol Airport. I mean, they've got a decent airport hotel, not as good as the one in JFK, by the way, where I also got stuck. I'll talk about that in a moment. Yeah, it was an interesting time. I had to get extracted from New York City.
Fuck! It's like Escape from New York, Luke.
No.
You have to get extracted. It's like fucking. It's like Solid Snake. We have to Fulton. We have to get the owl to get in Fulton Air Recovery. This motherfucker. Get the snake to go in there and save the owl. Which makes no sense.
It's still there's a lot of traffic. Yeah, it's the city that never sleeps. That's for sure. I came back 2 days before the global IT outage, and I fly by Delta. I fly K class, by the way. It's real cozy. Trust me, if you can swing it for business class ever, they literally, like when they serve you the food, they put like a tablecloth on the fucking thing next to you, and it's really cozy and it's fun. I like Delta. I can't fly.
Oh, this is bougie as fuck. That is bougie as fuck, dude. Like, I legitimately take Southwest because it's cheap and I want to go from point A to point B. The old... I don't know. Luke, what do you take usually if you drive anywhere or fly anywhere? What do you usually take? Not JetBlue, right?
No, I'm pretty much my default is either American or Southwest.
Who the fuck uses Delta? Fuck. Rich people. I don't know. Keep going.
Seating. I can't do that on any airline, by the way, because they try to cram them in. It's the cheap seats. My legs are too long, so I have to at least get Comfort Plus. You get complimentary drinks and stuff. And by the way, if you're ever on a Delta flight, make sure to get tomato juice at altitude. Salty things taste fucking amazing at altitude. You might not believe me. Maybe you don't even like tomato juice. Just try it. Just trust me.
I bet
me on this one.
you taste salty.
Delta going scorched earth on CrowdStrike because of their outage, saying, you've lost us, billions of dollars, basically. I can't even imagine. Can you even fathom? Collectively speaking, between all of the companies that were subject to the outage, airlines and everything else, how much money was lost over the course of that period of time? Oh my God, it must be in the many tens of billions of dollars, bare minimum.
There's a heuristic for that. Stop it. There's actually a heuristic for that. I think it's called like the 5-9s. I think it's called outage. Let's see, outage. 5-9s. Give me 1 second. I want to show this to you. High availability. Here we go. This is what we have right here, Luke. So one of the things you got to understand about the right and generally speaking people is they don't understand the technology that they're talking about. So one of the things that they need to understand is there's a concept of high availability, right? So there's certain servers that are designed to only go offline for like 1 day a year and every other, like for 3 years straight. Okay, and there's certain, so like 9eyes, for example, it talks about downtime per year. So you get 5 minutes of downtime per year for 5-9s. Then you have, let's say, a 1-9 is like 35 days a year is acceptable, right? That's like your mom and pop shops. But if you're like, let's say, how shall we say it? If you're like, let's say, a jet airline, you have to have like certain types of standards, right? CrowdStrike fucked that up royally. And he's correct about that. There actually is a standard. It's called the high availability. Let's see if it's called. Just look up 9eyes. What it's called. I'll send it to you. I'll put a link in the description. Go ahead. Keep going, Luke.
High availability, HA, is a characteristic of a system that aims to ensure an agreed level of operational performance, usually uptime, for a higher than normal period.
Yep. And that's the concept. That's the concept that Styx is talking about. There are standards that exist for like aviation equipment and whatnot. And the problem here is if it's supposed to be up for God knows how long, you can't do upgrades. You can't do patches. You can't do stuff. And in some cases, and this is where Styx gets it, but he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand the reason why people can't go from Windows, like, let's say, 3.1 or whatever the fuck it is, to, like, Windows 10. The reason here is because some of that equipment that is designed to be up forever in perpetuity is made, like, in the 1970s. They don't make it anymore. Like, we have technology that's in, like, our nuclear subs that was made on, like, an Apple II. You have to understand that technology, like, we can't maintain it because we don't have the technology for it. Like, you've seen Steins Gate, right, Luke?
What? Which one?
Steins Gate.
Remind me again.
Steins Gate is about the guy who goes back in time and like he affects the future and whatnot with the cell phone. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Steins Gate?
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah. So there's a character in it. I think they like mentioned it. His name is John Titor. Do you know about that?
No, tell me.
So John Titor was just like this character way back in the, it's an urban legend that this guy came back from the future to pick up a IBM 8100 with Intel Basic, I think it was, and he was basically saying that I need to take this with me, but I have to basically stick around. I have to like stick around, but my people need this in the future because we have to deprogram stuff and encrypt it, but it can't be done except on a certain type of hardware or what have you. He talked about how in the future there would be like a civil war and shit like that. See if I can pull it up for you, but keep playing it. We'll get to that in a second. I wanted to finish this up with Styx. Here you go.
Second world nation, basically. And this is the problem with Windows. Windows, or Wangblows, has been degrading for years. Windows 7 represents the apex of Microsoft's technology. That was the last good one. Then they tried to do Windows 8, and that one, they quickly shuffled that off to the side. They tried to avoid the Windows curse by immediately doing 10, and with some jury rigging, 10 is relatively stable. I'm running Windows 10 on this computer, for example. If you disable its ability to install things, and you disable its ability to update things, and you disable the telemetry and a few other things, and then install Classic Shell and a few others, then it's pretty close to Windows 7. It's manageable. Windows 11, meanwhile, is a hot mess. There's no way to disable that shit.
No, it's not. No, stop right there. There are ways around it, and he was going to talk about one, but one that I use is the answer file. Like, you could get custom answer files, so that way it automatically, like, downloads updates, the ones that you want and not the ones you don't want. It's like slipstreaming. There is a way to do it, but the problem here is, pagans are always technologically behind, right? So he's now learned how to use USB and boot from USBs and use ISOs. He's learned that. Keep going, Luke.
It's fucking Windows 98! Get Bill Gates in here! You told us Windows 98 would be faster and more efficient with better access to the internet.
It is faster, over 5 million.
Well, that would have saved us a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, you have to remember there are certain things that have happened with Microsoft, but you kind of have to use it. Like I for one don't like running stock Windows. I don't do it anymore. I have an answer file. I have it set up in a certain way that it turns off all the telemetry and whatnot. And it's very, like, again, you can make it good. The issue here is that when you have your own system, your own personal system, it should always be Linux. And it should be personal to you. I think Taro would be the one of the type of people who would embrace Linux if he knew about the demons that exist in it. But we're not going to talk about him because Pagans don't understand demons. They don't, because they don't understand technology, Luke. So, you know.
I don't know how I fucking accomplished it. Somehow I found a way. It still tries to update itself, but at least it's no longer trying to use OneDrive, so I managed to stop that. That's the other problem. These days, Windows automatically tries to upload everything to the cloud, which means that if somebody can penetrate a Google server, they can get all your shit. Well, I don't want my shit on the cloud. I want my shit locally. I keep it on USB drives for a reason, because I don't want anyone seeing my shit. That's the whole point. CrowdStrike is a hot mess, too.
God.
And they had a major update, actually, a few days ago. And they're saying, oh my god, don't worry, everything is going to be totally fine. We're sorry that we grounded tens of thousands of flights over the course of an entire week. Whoops, we're sorry about that. Apparently the only ones that were not...
It's days like this I'm so glad I don't fly anymore.
The last time no, it wasn't the last time I did it. The second to the last time I did it, I actually experienced turbulence. I think I told you about this, Luke.
Mm.
And it was bad. Like, I legit was up and down, and I was like, fuck. Spooked out of my mind. I never experienced turbulence before. But, wow. I don't know. I mean, maybe, can you imagine Delta with the cloth and turbulence? That'd be fucking weird. It'd be like a freaking movie. Like Titanic or something. Given it has a bit of a class to it. Let's go. Keep going.
Not subject to this, Southwest Airlines. Why? Because they never upgraded their Windows experience. They decided to stick with one that's like 20 years old. Literally running like Windows 95 or something
upgrade,
like that.
Taro.
So,
Taro, they can't upgrade because all of the software that they have won't work with the new Windows. And in some cases, some of the equipment they have won't work with, new hardware. So they can't upgrade. All they could do is like buy a bunch of Spark workstations or whatever the fuck it might be. And yeah, I've actually been in companies where they literally stockpile old bullshit fucking like iMac G3s or whatever the fuck it might be just to keep shit alive. I've been to places like that. I've seen that type of crap. It is a problem. And again, say what you will about Biden's infrastructure bill. We do need infrastructure to be, hardened and things like that. Like, not just like the power grid and crap like that. I mean, Bill Whittle's talked about that, Luke. Hardening the power grid and whatnot. But at the same time, we need the ability to basically get our shit at least upgraded to the point that it's like into early 2000s at least. And that's 20 years old, by the way. Some of the shit that is that these government organizations are using is shit made back in the 90s and like late 80s. You can't find replacements for it because the program to debug or like let's say programs, software updates, it doesn't exist anymore. They can't emulate that shit. And it really is a bad. It's really bad. It's a bad news bear situation because without the money and the resources they need, they can't upgrade anything. So they're basically gonna one day, because of digital rot or what have you, things are going to fall apart. It's something that no one wants to talk about. I mean, because you could always say, "Oh, you just want more money, you capitalist pig," right? I don't know. I'm rambling.
They were incapable of taking them down. And so Southwest Airlines was like the only other. I'm wondering how much money they made, by the way, off this. As people tried to get aboard their Delta or United Airlines flights or American Airlines, and they realized the flights aren't working because we can't do ticketing, we can't do literally anything, we're really sorry, they said shit. And then they saw Southwest had a queue that was 1,000 people long. I'm just trying to get to Texas, man. It's a short haul. Oh, shit. Now, there's only one airline that's actually going there. Oh, I better book over a ticket. And they get their refund, and then they used a different airline. Can you imagine how packed those flights were? Like, it's almost like, did they say, okay, if you pay a little bit more, we'll just let you stand in the aisle. We'll let you sit in the aisle or something like that. Mom was thinking that probably happened. They made money hand over goddamn fist. They probably bought a couple of extra airplanes with the money and expanded their routes. Apparently, it pays to downgrade your Windows experience. If you're running XP, nothing can touch you. That's the perfect operating system of all time.
Bullshit! don't listen to this fucking retard. The pagans can't encrypt. Luke, you do know that if you turn on, let's say, a Windows machine and you point it to the internet, there was like, let's say, Windows XP, right?
Mm-hmm.
You point it on the internet, it will immediately get hacked. I'm not joking. I have seen it happen. You put on a Windows XP machine on the internet with no protection at all, and and there are certain things you can protect against and certain things you ought to be able to, but you can't because of you don't have a patch for it. I've seen it happen. Here's something for you. This is something that was sent to me. Unfortunately, I think that there are multiple paths for me. Well, luckily for me, I'm not an IT student, so I'm lucky. I'm lucky in that regard. I'm actually, a shonen action hero. Like, I have two choices. I either become like the IT students, the academics, the fucking academics, right? They either turn into femboys or they turn to furries. Right? And basically, I'm at the point where I'm like, I have to be a shonen action hero. Or whatever the fuck it might be, because I'm definitely not going to be Rambo. Oh, alright, keep going, Luke.
Windows XP represents the best that it could possibly get, although there's no longer any support for it. I think with Service Pack 3, you can still run most things that you would need to run these days, but it might be a little bit lackluster. Windows 7, meanwhile, still works perfectly fine. They say that it's insecure, but apparently there's a payoff.
Make a Windows XP machine and put it on your home network, Tarl. Please. Just plug that shit in and play, Command and Conquer, whatever the fuck you used to play back. Get on RuneScape and install Java at the same time and put that shit on the internet. Just have it be your nostalgia machine. I guarantee you won't regret it. I guarantee you won't regret it. Go in, Luke.
Off to not upgrading your experience with Microshaft. So yeah, I'm going to be doing some operating system ISOs actually in the near future, because I never want to be without the ability to have a computer that's running like Windows 7 or Windows 10, which are actually stable operating systems, because modern Microsoft is just a goddamn mess. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's not, Bill Gates leaves and everything falls apart.
Linux.
And Bill Gates is a mess.
Learn to use the powers of the demon. I mean, for fuck's sake, it's a meme back in the day that, Satan uses Unix, right? He's a Unix user. He literally is. Like, that's like the old joke that like Satan owns a Mac, right? I'm not joking, Luke. You know what? I don't know. You're bored, Luke, I assume?
Getting hung up on a detail I don't particularly care about.
All right, well, that's about all. Peace out, I guess. Go do something else.
Was there anything else happen this week?
Well, I had a really big nostalgia trip. You know that? Like, I legitimately had, like, a nostalgia trip that actually hurt. I don't know if, like, I ever had that feeling like you realize how old you are and you realize how you realize where you were in life and where you are right now. I had one of those instances last week.
I usually have those just when I injure myself on something I don't normally injure myself on.
Oh, pain brings you back? Wow. That's
because I'm too easily distracted by. I mean, I'm having a nostalgia trip with Recess because it just came out to. Because what's weird is that I was old enough when remember Pepper Ann?
Oh fuck! I remember. I was gonna say I like Pepper Ann.
Yeah, it came out when I was actually the same age that Pepper Ann was, but I did not like it at all, and I preferred Recess. These 12th graders against 7th graders against 4th graders, and the 4th grader stories were a lot more interesting because there was just Hogan's Heroes on the playground.
It is, isn't it? Like, fucking Recess really is Hogan's Heroes at the end of the day. I mean, you can hear it in the theme.
And it's fun. Which is something that Pepper Ann never was for me.
I don't know. Like, if we had to choose between the Chad Recess versus the Virgin Kids Next Door, and that does sound really fucked up, but
yeah, I can see it though.
Well, Kids Next Door.
Well, I mean,
it's the same fucking thing.
Well, technically, the Virgin equivalent for Recess would be Craig of the Creek.
the fuck is that?
Imagine a recess in a big yard, except everyone is completely self-aware of how stupid it is. Like, everyone's always pretending. Like, in Craig of the Creek, they pretend to be bound, and everyone pretends to be bound. And everything all of a sudden stops when the parents say, okay, it's time to come home. Like, everyone actually believes in the like, everyone knows their fantasy isn't real, and they just go along with it because they have nothing else to do.
Fucking hipster shit.
It's same art style as Steven Universe, all that jazz, but it's just well, it's not as ugly, but still, it's too self-aware, which means it's not as interesting because the immersion breaks the very second you realize, oh, no one takes it seriously. Like, everyone, it's all too serious because no one knows how to have fun with it.
I don't know, man. That's fucked up. Honestly, like, the Cal art style and its consequences. Well, let's just be frank with ourselves. I've always been told that the Cal arts isn't recognized by ChatGPT. It's not a real art style. I've always been told that's the case. I don't know if it is.
Well, does it have surely they have like a Steven Universe art style because could they incorporate? Virtually all their modes have pony style. Of course, it's all variation of pony because certain styles, if you try to tweak them, the characters will turn to ponies.
Oh, wait a second. You're talking about AI?
Yeah.
You're talking about... Oh, wow.
Because virtually all the character names and prompts had the pony tied to them, and so I just thought that was just a name they all had, but it turns out, no, they're all based on, like, My Little Pony stuff. And if you tweak it too much, they'll become, like, ponies.
Yeah, I could see that, but at the same time, what it really is the ponies are the ones who are artistic enough to actually scan all this shit and all the fan art and all the, like, to go through the awes of DeviantArt and actually make it useful.
Ooh.
But when I was talking about, the nostalgia that really, really fucking just hit me, and honestly, I laid in bed that night and I just felt so just taken aback, honestly.
What was that?
Well, I'll tell you. So this was probably right before I was leaving middle school, and it was a summer break right before I leave from middle school to, I would say, high school. So I was still innocent in that. I wasn't quite old enough to be an adult, but I wasn't, I was too old to be a kid, right?
Hmm.
And I went on a summer break down to Los Angeles, and I actually want to go back to this place. I know that if I get enough money together, I could probably go back to California and visit certain places and get access to certain resources and whatnot, and bring it back with us to the new to Arizona. It's not the new California Republic. I almost said that. I mean nothing, no harm, okay? But there was a place called the Block. And the Block was basically this outdoor mall sort of place. And what they had, this was, again, early 2000s, right? I say 2003, 2002, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had this place that was, it was called the Virgin Store. You ever heard of that Virgin Megastore? Right?
No.
You never, we'll play this clip, Luke. I sent you a link. It's from Video Robot, it's called.
See what's this
now. The Virgin Megastores and Sun. Do you remember what Suncoast Video was?
Oh, Virgin, right? I remember now.
Yeah, like Tower Records and whatnot. So I went to this once. There were these two. I remember it like fucking day, man. You go out to these places. You look at the CDs and whatnot. I kind of want to go do this right now, actually. Like, I have that desire to go get physical media and actually browse. I want to do that. Like, I'm willing to pay money even to have that opportunity. Fuck. At some point, what Borders could do, and this is just me rambling right now, because I'm going to get to the point of the nostalgia here, but I wish, like, Borders or something like that could just say, hey, if you join for free, we'll let you pass, but you have to join to get in. Let's say the walled garden that is, looking at physical media, because I like physical media. I'm a big proponent of it, an advocate of it. But going back to what I was saying, in 2003, getting access to any form of imported media or getting access to, like, music that you liked or whatnot, I liked electronica. I really like electronica. And the only way I could get access to that type of stuff was going to places like, let's say, Virgin Records or Virgin Megastore or Suncoast to like get access to, let's say, anime back in the early 2000s. There was like nothing else. Like you didn't have access to, mega uploads and shit like that. You did, or like you have now, or torrents and crap like that. Honestly, it was nostalgic just to see it. Like I remember going to this place and I remember seeing imported CDs. Remember imported CDs, Luke?
Yeah.
Fuck, I mean, Zoomers don't know the pain of having to fucking choose whether your fucking CD is or CD-ROM is a Brit or a fucking American, because I think you only change it once or twice. I remember that shit, and at the same time, I can remember being. I just liked the innocence of it. I really was deep into that shit, and I wish we could kind of go back to that type of world, but we can't. That world doesn't exist anymore. This was before YouTube, mind you, 2003. How lucky we had it. Play it, Luke. You can mute it if you want.
Oh,
look at that
we're
shit.
just supposed to look at this?
Yeah, just look at it. Just look at it, dude.
Oh, wow. Good.
Yeah.
90s mall store. That's nice. Oh, and little headsets for everything available.
Yep. And it added a certain sense of like actually like ownership of your media. You could actually physically try it out and then test it and then bring it home with you. You have a physical fucking item, and bringing stuff into the physical world adds value to it. Like I want to do a true NAS build at some point on my home network. I'm gonna build like a really nice fucking true NAS system and then basically host a lot of my crap on it. But I mean, look at this stuff. I mean, if I ever go back to California, I want to go to Rasputin Records. I want to go and get like access to some of this stuff and like get actual physical media again. I mean, believe it or not, some of my Blu-rays, Luke, that I bought during the pandemic have gone up significantly. Like there are actually like $100 and $200 fucking Blu-rays for some of my anime. You know that? I'm not joking. Like I have like Record of Lotus War, like the Blu-ray version of it. It's like $200. I bought it for like $20. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. I mean, is it the inflation? Is it just the fact that they did a limited print run? What is it? I don't know. That's just me. But I remember going to these places, and I remember getting physical CDs and then ripping them onto like iTunes and whatnot. And that was like the end of it. It's like, why do we need UCD anymore? Just throw you in the garbage and have like a digital copy and pray to God no one accuses you of piracy. It's just between like being an anime head back in the frickin' day and actually having access to this type of technology, to this type of media and having access to this stuff, and actually have to physically go and look for certain things. You couldn't just search for it online. Luke?
I remember.
Oh my God, they even have a Cherry MX keyboard, POS equipment. Oh, it's so beautiful. I kind of want to go back. I really do want to go back. But, it's nowadays we have borders, right? Or not borders. We have book bins, right? That's kind of what they have, but even then they have like a little bit of it. I don't know. So besides that nostalgia trip, besides that, going back to the time that never was, or the land before time, if you will. We have to go to the people who ruined it. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I remember like when we were hanging out with the pirates, Luke. And that's not the drugs talking. That's we actually hung out with pirates, self-proclaimed pirates. Remember when they discovered what a borderline was? Well, let's just say this is interesting. This is on par with that. Here you go. Play this. It's fucking beautiful. Like I don't know what it is. Like there's like a great awakening happening where people are realizing that certain types of behavior lead to other types of behavior, and then you can sort of just get an idea of who you're dealing with. There you go, Luke.
Okay, this is a bit of a strange thing to me, but I feel like I want to make a video about it because it has been true in my experience for a really long time. Generally speaking, vegans are the most angry people in the comments on my videos that I have ever seen. And of course, they only really come out when I make a video that talks.
Yes, they fucking are. And there's a reason why. Vegans are fucking mentally ill, and I don't like using the term mentally ill because there's a loaded terminology,
Or
but I could legitimately say...
I mean, would it be more technical to say that they're not malnourished?
Well, that's what I'm getting into, right? They're malnourished in the sense that, you know, the human brain operates on, like, cholesterol, right? Like, certain types of cholesterol fuels the brain. So, like, you know, you hear about, like, brain food with fish and whatnot, omega-3s and shit like that, fatty acids that fuel the brain. You can't get that type of crap except from, you know, taking physical pills for that shit, like you're a goddamn, you know, a heroin addict or, like, some sort of AIDS victim. Or you go without and you basically die because you're not being able to get that from outside of animal products. And here's the problem with that: if let's say they do go without it, they have like a vision, like because your brain operates on the fatty acids and whatnot. They start having hallucinations. That's where the whole religious experience shit comes from. So now we're dealing with people who are legitimately might be crazy and dealing with New Agers. This should be fun.
Talks about food that doesn't specifically say everyone should be vegan. Now, personally, I don't think that humanity is at a point to being able to completely let go of eating animal products, and I don't think that that's necessarily even the best way to go. I've personally tried being vegan before, and for the first like 4 months, it was amazing. I really cleaned up my body, I felt a lot of healing, I felt really good. But after a while, I found that I was eating so much and was consistently unsatiated. And I would even be supplementing with all kinds of different like protein powders and different kinds of things, and it still...
You look like an anime character with those fucking leg wrappings, those hand wrappings. I used to have some of that shit back in the day when I was like a goth back in high school, right? I don't know why this guy in his, like, what, late 20s, you think? I think he's late 20s. He can't be early 30s. I don't fucking know. What would you say he's at?
Possibly.
Indeed. But, like, again, he just looks wrong. You know, it just looks like he looks like an anime character, and you don't want to look like an anime character because you're 3D, they're 2D, and you actually have you're not just a two-dimensional caricature like they are. Keep going.
But then always eating and not feeling all right. This was back in like 2017, 2018. I ended up having a piece of chicken at my parents' place, and it immediately satisfied the craving that my body was seeking. And I was like, okay, well then maybe I should be an omnivore. I went like that for another year or so. And then I started to do research as I was starting Spirit Mysteries, the original version of the Spirit Science Mystery School. And I started learning about how all of these ancient mystic teachings all said pretty much the same thing, from like the ancient Egyptian and Greek mystery schools to the mystics of India and all of the lineages that have come out of there. They all said a vegetarian diet for a spiritual person is the way to go. And so when we launched Spirit Mysteries, I actually did a class about this, and I made this commitment that I was going to practice being vegetarian. And from that point, I've pretty much not gone back. There have been a few times where I've made exceptions and I've tried some meat here and there, and sometimes it was okay and sometimes it wasn't, and the quality is such a
And
good
you know
thing.
why this is
And I was never
good?
trying really...
Do you know why vegetarian diets work, Luke?
Because
The fats. They can have fats. They don't get to eat meat, but they can have fats. They can have cheese. They can actually have the cholesterol that their brain would need. That's actually healthy. The vegan shit is like, we're going to do a fast in the wilderness and hope to God Satan doesn't show up to tempt us, you know? That's what we're dealing with vegans. Like, that's extreme shit. That's like that's like giving your brain the ability to play tricks on you. But you know, again, going back to the vegans being hateful motherfuckers.
get down on myself about it, because life is this very interesting mix of experience, and it's really important not to get so attached and caught up on the small details as we're figuring ourselves out in the journey that we're going through. But we also need to experiment with ourselves to find out what makes sense for us, what's the best path, what way we should be eating and living and practicing and treating others, the words that we use, everything. We're in a constant state of refining ourselves and breaking ourselves down at the same time. And so this was really interesting to me because then, we did this movie once called Healing with Food, the movie, and it was more of a pro-vegan side of things. This was when I was really looking at a lot of the research that overeating a lot of animal products, and especially processed sugar and other processed foods, were causing a lot of issues in the collective human body of consciousness. That a lot of sicknesses and diseases that we have today come from breaking the laws of harmony, especially as it relates to food. It also relates to our broken belief systems or disconnection from the soul or following spiritual paths that are ultimately superficial. All of these
What
things
the
trickle
fuck
down
are you
into the way we
talking
live our
about?
lives physically.
How about it's God forbid it actually be for yourself. God forbid you actually take care of yourself so you could be a father for your kids if you ever have them. Or that you don't become a burden to society in your old age. No, we have to make about cosmic consciousness and shit like that, Luke.
It always is. It has to go back to that. Otherwise, there's no point to having the spirit science.
He became a prisoner of his own device, didn't he?
That's the whole point. It makes you a cult without the cult leader.
It's almost like these people have basically have gained a following. It's audience capture, right? You ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
How you have friends and not friends, viewers who watch your content for a specific reason, and then, you're not talking about so and so anymore, or you change your mind, God forbid, like what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. You heard about Kyle Rittenhouse, right?
Apparently.
What did you hear about Kyle Rittenhouse?
I guess he doesn't support Trump.
He didn't support Trump, and then a bunch of motherfucking MAGA faggots. And I'm gonna start calling these fuckers out, okay? I am MAGA. I like Trump, okay? But there are certain people who are being assholes for no fucking other reason. Like, I think it was Cat Turd, or whatever the fuck his name was, who said, we stuck our neck out for you. Like, he didn't stick out for shit. You just typed a fucking few paragraphs and tweets. He actually was on trial, you piece of shit. And he was on trial for self-defense. And the problem with these goddamn motherfuckers, and this is where, I'm going to go hard on these goddamn MAGA motherfuckers for a second, because they need to be fucking put in their place in this regard, okay? This is where I get fucking bashed and I get messed with, right? But, hear me out. Kyle Rittenhouse I've talked about before how he's become a prisoner of his own device. His life is destroyed because of what he did, even though he didn't do anything wrong, right? His life's been destroyed. Luke, put some pictures of Kyle Rittenhouse up there if you want.
All right.
Yeah. His life's been destroyed because of the fame and infamy. He's become in a lot of ways like Robert Ford from Jesse James, the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. He has to keep reliving this shit over and over and over again, because that's what these politicians make that kid do. They make him relive the same event over and over and over again. And what did he originally want to do? He wanted to be a doctor, right? He wanted to go and go into medical school. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And he can't do it because the moment he steps out of line is the moment he fucking gets deplatformed and fucked with. He is literally a prisoner of his own infamy. And it's sad. Because here's the thing. He should have just walked off into the sunset, changed his name, and maybe, skip town, let's say. Sad enough that could have been the best option for him. I don't know. But, now that he says, I'm more of a Ron Paul guy, he actually was, against, he didn't try to push the bump stock ban because it was popular like Trump did. And then he criticized Trump, and then what they do? Oh, how dare you? We stuck our neck out. Like, dude, it doesn't matter. You didn't do shit. You literally just made a few tweets, and this guy literally had, killed a person. He has to live with that for the rest of his fucking life. It's sick, Luke.
Now,
it really is sick.
Granted, one of them was a pedophile, so he doesn't have to feel too bad about it.
But at the same time, whether his sexual preferences are little boys, little girls, or, Happy Meals, right? The son of a bitch, he deserved to get shot. Let's just be frank, they deserved the bullet in Minecraft and Warzone 3, but still, you kill a human being, you have to fess up for it, right? In court. and everyone was against him. But now these people are like, "Oh, you're against the big man." What's going to happen when Trump dies?
I mean, I don't.
What's
it's just kind of annoying because Ron Paul would be like going for Ron Paul would be the sensible libertarian thing to do. I mean, it's the losing position to take, but it's the position that virtually everyone takes when they have their libertarian moments.
Well, it's also the fact that he's trying to be principled. Let's not kid ourselves. He doesn't agree with Trump's bump stock ban, and again, I'll be frank. Trump wasn't very pro Second Amendment. He wasn't. Now, granted, that the demographics have changed. We all had that pandemic, and as that pandemic kicked off, right, we've seen more people now more than ever have bought firearms because they were scared of the government. They were scared of the lockdowns. They were scared of whether it would be freaking The Stand or whether it be freaking Resident Evil. People are spooked. And there are more gun owners now. So now Trump might have to be pro Second Amendment. He might very well have to be, even to the point of extremes. And so I'm an extremist in that regard as well. But I'm really disappointed in the internet. But why should I care? It's the internet, right?
Yeah.
Fuck.
But ever since that movie was made, again, I've gone through my own journey of exploring and discussing with myself and others and then making videos about different ways of eating. Is it right to eat meat or vegetarian or vegan, or should we be eating fish? Probably not, they're all poison. But whenever I do talk about anything that is food related, I often find that vegans are the most angry. And they are really mad. Like even when I did the video talking about what's going on with Israel and Palestine, that definitely generated some frustration, but nothing in comparison to like when we talked about being vegetarian.
Take down the video. Take down the picture of Rittenhouse. This is not his opinions. It's a fucking crazy New Ager. Rittenhouse is a God-fearing Christian boy.
And I've just been shocked by this because one might think or presume that one who's following a vegan path is much more earth-centered and connected to the planet and connected to their own spiritual practices, and in that maybe having a sense of understanding and compassion for other people and where they're at. And I know that this isn't a general statement. I can't say, oh, vegans are really angry. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But it's so interesting to me that there's such a level of sensitivity there. Now, of course, I have to acknowledge, and we all have to see that there's a very good reason for that frustration. And I'm not trying to say that this is not a big issue. Vegans are predominantly angry because there is a huge mistreatment of animals across the board, whether it's in the factory farms that are like the slaughterhouses.
Don't fucking enable them. Don't enable them. Oh, they're angry because of it's the Lorax argument, Luke. I'm the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the birds and the beasts and the bubblegum trees. He's giving these motherfuckers a logical reason for why they're pissed off. And I'm like, dude, we're not going to stop factory farming anytime soon. Count the losses. Fuck.
And all of it. It's terrible. It's terrifying. It's a literal modern-day Holocaust that is taking place to these animals that is not being addressed. And I know that's a very sharp thing to say. But
it's literally a Holocaust.
Because if you treated humans that way, we would say this is akin to Nazi Germany.
Oh my god.
They are a food source. You're not supposed to equate them to human beings. I mean, by all means, if you're taking issue with how they're cruelly handled, then I agree. But the thing is, there are food, for crying out loud. We raise them to be our food.
Something needs to be done, and I'm with.
It's not like vampires feeding on humans and being concerned about their rights. No, they're animals. They are literally subhuman animals.
No, they're not even subhuman. Subhuman implies that they were once human. They're not like you know. This isn't fucking Pinocchio, Jordan Peterson. We're not gonna eat a bunch of. We're not gonna literally eat horses that are kids. Shit. Keep playing it.
Everybody out there who expresses frustration towards the factory farming or animal farming systems, this needs to change. At the same time, I believe there is a healthy and harmonious middle ground, at least in my experience, and I think where humanity is right now, because we are still moving from a state of very dense matter-based consciousness into a more energetic reality, and we are just at the beginning of a very long cycle. This whole movement of the Age of Aquarius, we're barely scratching the surface on entering the Age of Aquarius, and this is going to go for 2,000 years.
Dude, they said they were going to enter the Age of Aquarius back in 1974. Shut the fuck up. It's a lie. It is literally a lie. It's no different than the lie of the millennial fucking Christian shit. It's bullshit. Here we go, Luke. This is your vegans right here. And I'll tell you this, look at the fucking females and look at their jawline and tell me that it doesn't look like every pagan you've ever fucking seen. Mia Magic included.
Oh, wow. Oh. Let's see.
Gorillas. Holocaust victims?
Is he... Wait. That's an actual Holocaust
just
victim,
watch.
right?
Yes, that's a Holocaust victim.
For
vegan?
Oh, is that them now?
Fucking Moby. Yeah.
Wait, what was that? What did he say? Plants are indigestible and rot in your body? Huh.
Yeah. Without proper antacids to burn them, it's impossible. Like, you don't need that much fiber. This shit, dude.
Oof.
And they lose their teeth because they're not getting enough vitamins.
Ah, that's what that is.
Yeah. Fucking hook nose.
Rotten teeth? What would that matter?
Well, because you're eating all the sugar. Like, all the fucking, the diet they're eating is sugar. At the end of the day, it's all just sugar.
Mm.
You know, Rocking Mr. E. Remember Rocking Mr. E from, like, way back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
When he started getting into this shit, he became red-pilled, and I don't know what the fuck happened to him. But, like, once you go down the rabbit hole of, like, alternate information, you realize how fucked these people are. Going. Fucking starving themselves. Look at the Noodle Boy arms.
You see his rib cage. Wow.
Yeah. Like, again.
I mean,
and
I want to be fit, but I don't want to see my ribs sticking through my chest.
You know, that's for women, not for men. I'm just saying. But, like, even women, keep playing it, Luke. Keep playing. You're gonna find it very interesting. Watch this.
Oof.
2010. Now watch this shit. Oh god, you can see that's the pagan jawline. Look at that shit.
She looks more like Kamala Harris. Like her big.
It's like leathery skin, leathery fucking skin, mate.
Her neck is eating away. It almost seems to be eating away at itself. It's almost as big as her head.
Yeah, it's like there's not enough like sinew or whatever the fuck it is to like keep her fucking neck from like snapping in half.
Mm.
There's not enough support. Keep going, Luke. Hormonal issues.
Oof. That guy looks like a zombie.
They look like zombies, bro. Yeah. And again, it causes you to age. Look at this shit. Muscle atrophy. Like, I've seen that shit happen. I actually, I'm starting to eat more meat nowadays because I actually, finally, landed on my feet in fucking Arizona. But, like, look at this. Noodle Boy.
Oh, they look like the people I saw at that Democrat meeting. Oh.
You'll tell us about that. Like, can you tell us about that, Luke?
There's not much to it. It's just a bunch of people, concerned senior citizens, just gathering together to maintain control of their Democrat district.
Oh, jeez.
No, keep in mind, I don't live in that district, but I went to visit it.
So, riddle me this. Did you dress up as Clark Kent, or did you dress up as the Tick with glasses?
Oh, Clark Kent is more pleasable. I didn't have to put on a full bodysuit.
Oh, jeez. Okay. So, like, you can put on a full bodysuit. Like, I actually thought at one point of going as drag. And there's a legitimate reason why going as drag actually works. It's like it's wearing a ghillie suit. It's the urban ghillie suit of our time.
Mm.
No, think about it. Like, like they will never like the people on that side will never fuck with you except your own side. So like if you had some way of like wearing, let's say, I don't know, a certain type of way of like differentiating yourself from the masses enough to that you could covertly infiltrate, but at the same time, you know, wear the enemy's colors. You could very well just fake it till you make it, quite literally. I don't know. That's just me. That's me being tactical. Speaking of.
That's terrible. But is it? Well, a lot of people don't know. And all I can go on is my instincts and my feeling at the time that it felt good.
And when our body uses our uterus and vagina as a fontanel, or as fontanels.
Senile, mentally ill, promotes infertility. Women lose their period because they do not get any of the animal nutrients, especially vitamin A, gray hair, protein deficient. Oof.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that gray hair and white hair, specifically in like certain Asian cultures, right? That actually means death. Like there's a reason why like Inuyasha, a half demon, right? It has white hair. There's a legitimate like argument for what that means in that culture. So you got to ask yourself these questions. These people are like all new age and spiritual, yet they're losing their fucking hair color because they're not getting the proper nutrients. And in some cases, these women are losing their periods. You want to talk about a fertility crisis? Look at the fucking urban elite. These cunts are fucking all vegans. Yeah.
They call that menstruation. It's normal. You're supposed to do this. And I'm reminded of...
And the reason I decided to try some injectable B12 was because, as some of you might know, recently I've had a little bit of mental problems. I've been having hallucinations and shit. I think a lot of that is due to stress. But someone in the
Well, thanks for that admission.
They actually had hallucinations, bro. They actually had hallucinations. It's disgusting. The shit that these, like, again, what are we doing to these people? We're telling them, oh, you're having caged animals. Dude, do you want to be the guy who goes and plucks it yourself? Shut the fuck up then. You know, like, be thankful for what you got. There's a lot we are thankful for. There we go. One, that you're in America, not in the UK.
Remind me that is a symptom of B12 deficiency, so I figured it might not be a bad idea to just inject B12 to make sure it's being absorbed properly. And typically, I just take a B12 supplement in the form of cyanocobalamin, but for the last few months, about 4 or 5 months, I've been taking B12 from a fortified soy milk that I've been taking, and that's a different source of B12. I've been taking that for a few months.
Mouth sores from what?
From not getting enough protein to, like, heal your fucking mouth. They could just be eating sugar and shit, you know?
Uh-huh.
I never said I like people. I hate people. Some people say they hate people, but I really, really hate people. And I'll be dead fucking serious. I'm a sadist. I enjoy hurting people. When I just beat the ever-living shit out of somebody, I get a warm, tingly feeling inside like I'm being loved. Why the fuck should I have any respect for people? There are some people that I really do love, and I think they're worth something, but the majority of the human race, I just have absolutely no respect for. So don't get on my bad side, make some vegan gains, and be nice to animals, or I'll kill you. So the only use I can see...
What a wonderful fellow.
Be thankful you're not in the UK, Luke, because Mitch... I don't know if this is where Mitch is at, but, like, this is the general country that's going on right now. Apparently, people are talking about how there's apparently a race war going on in fucking UK right now.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. Why the fuck is there a... Is Vegan Gains a fan of Kojima? The fuck is
that
Diamond Dog doing there?
Is that from Kojima?
Yeah, little Diamond Dog right there.
Oh yeah, what is this? What's going on over there in
jolly old England?
Let's see what's going on over there.
Well, the Muslims, word around the campfire says the Muslims are being backed by the police because they're law-abiding citizens. People are sick and tired of this fucking... they're sick and tired of multiculturalism. They're sick and tired of... And here's the thing that's interesting. The crowd that's there on the other side that are resisting the police are actually people who are Sikhs. They're Sikhs, they're native Britons. There are people who are, you know, from different parts of the world and different religions, and they all don't like Islam.
Oh,
and they're sick and tired of this shit.
Oh, this is live feed that's happening right now.
Yeah. Panic on the streets of London. Anarchy in the UK, baby. Look at this shit. Let's watch some of this shit, Luke. Let's see how the Brit bongs. Let's see how the other side lives. Got a few Proud Boys there. Oh, Seamus is not in the mood. Those damn dogs! Oh my God, they have dogs! It's like Call of Duty World War II. They got dogs. Oh, it's always raining in the fucking aisles. Look at the little Arthurians with the little shields. Luke, what do you think they're going to do to the lads? They're going to send in the dogs. They're going to set the dog lassie on them. The Doge! The Doge, Luke. They're sticking the Doge on them. They're sticking lassie on the poor bastards. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Did they actually get someone? That is fucked. Oh, wow.
Oh, ouch. Can we show that?
Well, you know, it's on YouTube and it's on CNN News 18, the Ocho. Shit. Just keep going. Just keep going, Luke. Fuck this insanity, mate. Look at him go. Yeah, so the dogs are the biters. They literally will grapple you. They'll grab you and then they'll push you forward. And, well, you know, here's the problem. I actually think that those people who are in the press should be on the side of the fucking legitimately back to back with the protesters. That way, these fucking cops don't have a uh-oh. What was that? They tossed something.
Something made of glass.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This brings me back to my Berkeley days. This brings me back to the days when I fought in riot in Berkeley. It was fucking beautiful. Fought communism in Berkeley. It was like fucking Da Nang or some shit. God damn. Oh. Now look at the look at the Doge. The Doge. Look at the go. Oh man. You gotta ask yourself the question: like, are these cops going to basically, you know, corner these motherfuckers and then arrest them all? Like, you have to ask yourself the question: what did the police? What's their end goal, right? Like, these people are protesting. You gotta tell them to disperse, or you gotta tell them to disperse, and then you start bringing out the canisters of fucking gas. Like, what are they doing? What's the end goal here, right? Are they just there to be a silent guardian? What is the end goal here? Because I've seen videos online of some of these guys, you know, basically burning down and destroying the hotels that held these migrants. And again, the problem in the UK is that there's no integration. Some of these people don't even speak the language of the native population, so they can't get the benefits. So they just become a burden. And the problem here is that'd be okay if, let's say, it's one guy and his wife who doesn't speak well. But it's not just one guy and his wife doesn't speak well. It's boatloads and boatloads and boatloads of the riffraff from all over the world. You have Bangladeshis, you have people from fucking Trinidad, you have people from fucking El Salvador, and all these places just coming to the UK. And some of them don't speak English. Some of them can't even help themselves, so they become, you know, a political fucking tool for the elite. Right? Keep going. The shit. I wonder if Brother John will ever show up in one of these places. It'd be funny just to see him talk about the Bostons. Know what the Boston Bobbies did. Sheesh. And of course, these guys are far right, right? I don't think they're far right. I think there are people who are just sick and tired of being politically disenfranchised. They prioritize the foreign more than they do the fellow. And then of course, you got the feds, right? The fucking glowies, right? Because they're all wearing black and white, right? Not to mention, they all kind of have that same, how should we say it, skinhead type of chic. Skinhead chic? Smackhead chic. That's what it is. They all try to be like Jim Code. You bored, Luke?
So what are they exactly protesting over?
That is a very good question. Let's go to Twitter and find that shit out. So I know that it had to do with like people getting killed or some shit. Alrighty, let's see. UK riots. I wish freaking Wolf would show up here because I know Wolf had some stuff to say about this. He actually told me about these riots that were going on. Here we go. The truth about the. Here we go. This is just something I just found on the fucking twatters. And yeah, it's Twitter. It's not X.com. Fucking Elon. I might pay for your fucking shit, but I'm not gonna fucking call it what it is. It's Twitter. It'll always be Twitter. And fuck, even the thumbnail says it's Twitter, you bastard. It does, Luke. It literally says Twitter. What does she have to say?
Their sovereignty, because they are tired of watching their culturally glorious homeland fall into a dystopian mess of crime and corruption. For years, Europe has been importing mass migration from culturally degenerate countries. Islamic extremism has been tormenting our Western nations and replacing the values of Christianity.
No! No! No!
We were intimidated into staying silent with accusations of xenophobia because our greatest pressure point is being associated with the far right and even Nazi extremism due to our daunting historical...
Well, let's just be... Let me just say this about this loss, okay? I would ask this chick out for a cup of coffee. But she has to ditch the leather. That's the trade. She got to ditch that leather jacket. We got to get something nicer, like a blouse or something. All right? Or like some satin gown. I want to see some... I want to see the young Tot in a very nice, beautiful gown or a dress. That's what I want, Luke. And that's just me being the horn dog that I am. Keep going.
Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow.
You know what this reminds me of?
Consequences will never be the same, Luke.
This reminds me of one of the opening scenes from the second Doom Eternity.
Doom Eternity?
Or what was it called? Doom Eternal? Like one of the first levels they showcased on the video circuit, when they started showing previews of it. One of the opening levels was on Earth, and the hell had breached over and pulled over, and everywhere you go, there's a little hologram telling you, "Don't worry, the change in the environment is normal." And they say like politically correct things. Demon is an offensive term. Morally impaired is more appropriate.
You know, God bless Doom and God bless John Carmack, because he didn't give a flying fuck. Like a lot of these SJWs, they care way too much about, what people think of them. They don't understand that life is a contact sport. Play to win, but don't be expected once you get knocked the wind out of you every so often.
Let's see if I can find that particular quote.
Behold the fruits of our labor. Take a moment to look around you. Witness the beauty of the world we have created. Please assemble in an orderly fashion and move towards the nearest harvesting zone. Thank you.
Wow.
Fucking demons and shit, man. Chaos. Walrus boy chaos.
Let's see. There's one particular quotation. The cleansing of Earth is a necessary step towards the path of a brighter tomorrow.
Yeah, chaos totally took over.
Here it is. Here's what it is.
For your support during this transition, your suffering continues to inspire us.
Jeez, subtle. Like, forget about the future, just suffer is to be present. That sounds like what Xi Jinping's telling the people of China right now.
Jesus Christ, Xi Jinping, what has he done to his own people? Winnie the Pooh.
No, you just have to eat bitterness, basically. So you have to get used to the situation you're in, because it's not getting any better, and it's unfair to expect everyone to get better.
Yep. We're very close to World War III. I mean, honestly, we're at that point.
Here it is.
Remember, demon can be an offensive term. Refer to them as mortally challenged.
Well, there are demons, not devils.
Is the
Devils at least are
the universe.
Oh, wow.
What? What?
Earth is the melting pot of the universe.
Oh my god.
I don't like the way that... I mean, there was a trilogy now, and so I don't really like the way they decided to end it, because they went from... The first one was, like, technology skirting the edges of mythology, and then it got more heavy into the campiness of mythology, and then the third one just completely went all in on the mythology stuff. It's like, oh, well, that...
Is there another... Is there? I thought there was only 2 Dooms right now. Two modern
There's a
Dooms.
third one. There's a third one. They finally conclude the Doom guy's story.
Is it DLC?
I don't know. It's real.
Okay, I mean, like it's DLC though, right?
I thought it was a completely different game, because we actually see his face and hear him talk.
Oh wow, I have to play it. I mean, honestly, I kind of want to do a Doom let's play. It'd be something I could play with, you know. Just to be in the background at the same time, you know, it's my god. As a Catholic, let's be frank. If I'm gonna play a game, I'm gonna play Doom, right?
Oh, Doom Endgame, that's what it's called.
Doom Endgame. I have not played Doom. I mean, I played the original, but not the freaking, you know, the new one. I have not played the new one, and I don't plan on it anytime soon. But I'm thinking, you know what? Why not? If it's on Steam sale, why not?
Doom Eternal. I don't think it's a DLC, but it's like a whole other level entirely. Or no, the Eternal, the Ancient Gods Part 1 and 2, or whatever the name. It's kind of hard to. It kind of snuck up. I don't think it's like an official game, so I haven't been following it very well.
Well, there you go. I mean, Doom is Doom. I mean, I've seen Doom mods that are like really, really good, like Doom 2, way back in the day.
Oh no.
I don't know, but here you go, Luke.
Avengers Doomsday, Robert Downey Jr. Oh yeah, he's Dr. Doom now.
I actually want to see him as Dr. Doom, because I actually like Dr. Doom. Or Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom. He like... I don't know if he's going to do like more from Professor Chaos type of shtick, or what he's going to do, but I really do think he's going to be like a narcissist. He's going to put on the narcissism of fucking Tony Stark. He'd be Tony Stark if he didn't learn shit.
Let's see. Oh, here's 1994's Dr. Doom when he was Spider-Man.
That's what I want for all my citizenry.
Then why don't you free them from your tyranny? Why don't you leave them as they were before you arrived from Earth?
Because it wouldn't be long before they'd be swallowed up by someone like Octavius or the Red Skull. I am not a tyrant.
Very, very heavy foreign accent.
Sounds like fucking V. Sounds like Crown T. He does. He sounds like Crown T. He's gonna start talking about his laboratory and shit.
Oh yeah, when I was watching the new Tick video on the history of Marx, I realized that one of the images was one of Crown T's avatars, and it turns out it was a very anti-Semitic Marx supporter.
Jesus Christ!
And it was Crown T's avatars, but with the thug glasses.
Oh God!
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online.
This is totally a Doom intro. This is insane.
And then running away.
Rip and tear till it's done, Luke.
This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery.
But the truth is that we must rationally analyze the dangerous ramifications of uncontrolled mass migration from third world countries which do not mix well with our established culture. But now that they're coming for our children, we've had enough. And those of us who have already woken up but never had the courage to speak up, we are finally brave enough to rise above our insecurities and guilt, because we understand that now is the last chance to fight back. But you must never forget who the real enemy is. It's the tyrants who try to suppress your voice for far too long. Why do you think they implemented their covert strategies to lock down the countries all over the West? Was it just a test run? Are they going to abuse these exact same measures against you now, once they realize that they have to go against us in civil war? And more importantly, are you going to let them do this to you again? Or are you willing to fight for your freedom? Come on, our ancestors built this amazing Western civilization, and we have a duty to defend it. This is our chance to unite amongst the people and recognize that the tyrants always tried to divide us into left and right, so that we wouldn't look back into their eyes and realize who the actual enemy is. But we see you now. We are staring right back at you. And we understand that the one thing that you wanted to keep from us is the truth. With inversions of the truth, with pretentious false moralism, you tried to trick us. But we are more intelligent than that. And we understand that truth is the antidote to the woke mind virus.
So fucking hot.
Yeah,
Mike.
and also Elon Musk got in kind of trouble for saying the woke mind virus because one of his sons is transitioning.
I heard his son died.
Wait, what? When?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I thought he was still alive, because he raised.
He is still alive. He is still alive. But the way Elon talks about it, it sounds like they killed his son. That's what he said. They killed my son.
The cult took his son, so it might as well. It's almost like a death.
It's a spiritual death, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Russian propagandist. I will look into that, Mike, because she says no Western civilization. She doesn't say which one. Not to mention, let's not kid ourselves. All the Russian propagandists are the sexy little fuckers. I mean, look at that fucking what was her name? Syrian girl partisan. Dick sucking lips if I ever saw him. Like legitimately dick sucking lips. Best DLCs I've ever seen in my life. Here you go, Luke. Here's some stuff. Here's some of what's going on in the UK. 3 videos here. Give you more an idea.
Let's see what we got here. Massive racial conflict erupts in UK, triggering riots. Several hotels and mosques in the UK. You see, asylum seekers were set on fire by protests.
And of course, who has to chip in but Abu the Muslim pimp? The Lord of the Apes himself, Tarzan.
Of course.
Well, you gotta say Abu.
Amazing to see everybody falling into the Matrix's trap. I have Muslims
God.
messaging me about how I need to take their side. I have the British messaging me about the fact that I was raised in the UK and I should take the British Patriots side. I've made it clear that I think people should only enter the country legally, and I believe that people who were natively born to a land have a right to that land. And for it to be conquered by military-age males from far away is going to be upsetting and distressing to any red-blooded male on the planet. However, this false dichotomy of sides, choose a team, is exactly what the Matrix wants. So I'm going to tell you what is going to happen, for certain, by the end of this. If the two teams continue to fight each other, absolutely nothing will be achieved. 95% of people who are on the streets have legitimate concerns that they want to be voiced and heard and respected. Probably on both sides of the equation. And then there's going to be a small contingent on both sides, which are going to be violent and have knives and guns, etc.
Is he getting fat, Luke? He's picking up some pounds. Maybe because he was in prison, but like his physique is all off.
Did he have that tattoo on his chest before?
It's a gorilla tattoo, I think, or like what the fuck is that? Is that an elephant? It's an elephant.
It looks like one of those dragon tattoos that you see Yakuza have on their backs.
Boots on my Yakuza. Gaijina boo! Gaijina boo!
Ones were reported out to be being told they were the whole group, everybody was like these people. They're mindless, they're senseless, they have no point of view, they have no legitimate concerns, they just love violence. That's going to be the media spin. And what the UK government is going to do by the end of this whole scenario, unless people get their act together and realize that the problem is actually the elites in Westminster and not people they live amongst.
He reminds me of Major Payne. He reminds me of Major Payne from that movie. Remember that shit?
Major Payne.
Major Payne. The movie from way back in the day. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see if I can find it.
From that comedy Major Payne?
Yeah. He does. His jaw, like his just general head.
I never saw that.
You never see Major Payne? You gotta watch Major Payne. Oh fuck! They're actually advertising a Blu-ray. I might pick it up. I might that and Heavyweights. He reminds me so much of that. All right, let's keep going. Let's hear a boo out.
Test. No more right to assemble. stricter rules about speech online, stricter rules about having a point of view, and you're going to find more and more people having their doors knocked in the middle of the night by police officers, taken to cells for saying things which are legitimate and which are true, because they have concerns about the safety of their children. More people are going to end up being charged with hate speech or some kind of inciting to violence or some other kind of subjective garbage to prevent anybody from voicing their opinion anymore. And the elites are sitting there in their ivory castle laughing, because you have the poor browns fighting the poor whites, and they know by the end of it they'll have all the excuses they need to just take away more freedoms from everybody, the poor browns and the poor whites. That's how it's going to end. You can't preach the idea of a multicultural society, then ignore the views and concerns of one particular culture within that multicultural society, especially if you're pandering to those of another culture, and especially if the culture being ignored is the native culture. You can't do that without expecting violence.
Abu speaks the truth. He truly is the Mahdi. He truly is the Mahdi, isn't he, Luke? The Muhadi. He's Muhadi. He thinks he's the G. He's the G, Luke. God, here.
It's just going to be here standing up saying, we need tougher laws, laws. And those laws will be abused, because laws are always abused by the governments. They're going to say it's for your safety, but eventually the laws are going to be abused to prevent you from ever having a point of view on anything ever again. Ever expressing your opinion on anything ever again. And it's not only going to be the white people who are suppressed, it's going to be the other side who are suppressed also. We're all just going to have the same mush. You know, I've traveled the world enough to see, guys, I promise you, it's rich versus poor. It's not poor black versus poor white. It's not poor brown versus poor white. It's rich versus poor. There are people...
No, it's the Gnostic leadership against the plebs.
Yeah, it's the Gnostic elite versus those who don't know shit.
And keep in mind, like, having two sides, they're the thesis and antithesis, and using them to transform to a synthesis, and which is the dialectic. Which, of course, it's always done because dialectics work when you know what the conclusion is, when you know the synthesis you're trying to reach, and only the leaderships at the top know what the synthesis is.
Only those who have enough information to get an accurate lay of the land are the ones who actually benefit from this, who could do that type of shit. So we're talking the Zuckerbergs, we're talking about this NSA, we're talking about the Vladimir Putin, whatnot, right?
Uh-huh.
They actually have people who know what's going on. The average, person like you and me doesn't.
We do, but the average person other than us don't.
Maybe it's just me, but like I legitimately don't believe that. I look at. I always I don't give myself enough credit, mainly because I like to be humble, right? If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to be humble in the sense that I like to see what others think of me first, as opposed to what other people, what I think of myself, right? Because I could say that I'm the best person in the whole freaking world, but if the market doesn't say so, I really don't care. So I care more about what other people think of me, right? Let's see. Mike has some things to say. So he says monkey noises. Yeah, someone on Lipsticks Larry's chat tried to claim that Dugan is a anti-Russian CIA is BS. Yeah. Honestly, I don't trust it. I don't trust the Walrus. I really don't trust him at all. And there's a reason why I don't trust him. It's because he wrote a book that's being used specifically by the Russian government to basically say, hey, let's subvert the West. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. If we have to actually go over and assist the UK, there's going to be a problem. I don't think we're at that point, but, they have to start paying attention to some of this shit. Because even Lauren Southern's talking about this crap. Here you go, Luke.
Racism therefore emerged, and to somewhat the feeling of many Germans and Austrian Germans at this time, they felt like they were under attack from the other races around them, especially the Slavs, who they believed were encroaching on their culture. Riots eventually broke out in 1891, threatening to plunge the country into civil war. The underlying theme of these varied political protests was the attempt on the part of many Austrian Germans to fight a rearguard action against Slav demands for political and national expression and unity within the increasingly anachronistic multinational Habsburg Empire. I just want to emphasise this. Austrian-German racist nationalism was a reaction to a perceived attack on their culture by other nationalities within a multi-ethnic empire. Whether that attack was truly there or not isn't the point. What matters is that the more the state and the powers that be called for unity and inclusivity, which is anti-national by nature, the worse the reaction became. Intense internationalism drove people into the nationalist camp, eventually resulting in two of the biggest wars in history and the destruction of millions of people in the following decades. Maybe there's a lesson we can learn from that.
That's what we're going to get. We're going to get a nationalist movement that's going to destroy the elites if they're not careful.
Yep. The problem here It's most of the elites are actually elites.
Meh.
What's going to happen to Prince Charles?
Why can't we be the member of the elites? We're more sane.
Well, I hate to be the guy that says this. You own a home, dude.
And?
How many millennials do you know? Are you millennial by chance or Gen X?
I think I'm technically a millennial.
How many millennials do you know who own a home?
Eh.
Do you understand what I'm getting at? Like, you legitimately have one. I had the problem of being retarded by freaking.
I only have it because of my. And to be fair, I primarily have it because of my dad, baby boomer dad.
So you had the torch passed to you. That's great.
Maybe
I have to. What? Well, I mean, it kind of is. Let's not kid ourselves. I was watching the freaking. I've been watching The Boys a lot more. Like, I actually had to catch up on stuff because, like, the reason I watch The Boys is because I want to have stuff to talk about at work with people, right? And I've actually been going dancing lately more often than not.
Huh.
And yeah, I've been actually being able to hold chicks before dancing, like not dirty dancing, but like dancing, and I'm able to hold her hand. It's really awesome because you have that ability to bridge that gap. There's always the touch gap that people talk about. I'm able to get past that really easily. So I'm a dancer now.
All right.
Yeah. But going back to what I was literally talking about, this was something that was sad. I mean, I kind of have to date within my group because this is the problem right here.
What's this? So you want to cosplay poverty?
Oh, yeah.
What does that mean?
This video is brought to you by Mubi, a
Let's see, what's this all about?
curated streaming service dedicated to elevating great cinema from all around the globe. Get a whole month free at Mubi.com/Yarzaid. Sad white girls on Tumblr. If you spent any amount of time on Tumblr in the 2010s, those words mean something to you. Grainy gifs of Kaya Scodelario as Effie Stone and blowing cigarette smoke in your face. Dramatic stills taken from Palo Alto. A movie that is so 2013 Tumblr that it's almost hard to watch today. Lisa from Girl Interrupted.
Palo Alto. Yeah, I've been to Palo Alto before. And I've seen the Palo Alto girls. I'm from that fucking area. Those women are fucking privileged. You ever want to talk about privilege? Those women are privileged. But the fun fact here is that Palo Alto is known for its fucking homeless population. I'm not joking. Next to fucking San Francisco, it's one of the biggest problems of a homeless population. Outside of, let's say, Los Angeles. But there are a lot of thoughts out there. Why no thoughts, let's say. Go ahead, Luke.
Being wild-eyed, heartbroken, and sexy at the same time. And of course, The Virgin Suicides, a movie that typically serves as a Tumblr girlie's first introduction to being a sad Tumblr girlie. Insert any Sofia Coppola film of your choice here. Sad white girls drinking, smoking, sinking into depression, and they are beautiful. They are stunning as they swallow pill after pill in slow motion. So alluring and erotic as they lay in bed or on the floor or in a bathtub with no hope for the future. They are supermodels. They're cinema. They're the Renaissance paintings of existential bedrock.
They're caricatures, goddammit.
There's a lot that can be said and has been said about the romanticization of depression as it pertains to art, social media, and literature. I don't think Sylvia Plath wrote the
This is first world fucking problems, dude, Luke.
Yep.
Could you imagine fetishizing depression? I mean, what the fetishizing depression? What the fuck? Why? Why, Luke?
What's that phrase? It's I wish I could remember the phrase, but it's something about like romanticizing the intellectual being miserable intellect. If I could just find that one particular quote.
Angst. It's not angst, is it? Fucking angsty Danes. Ugh. Keep playing it while you're looking.
Who want to be seen as tragic and deep could make it their entire personality, but they do. It's important to make that distinction, though, that this tendency to use tragedy as a ploy for respect is not new to social media. We may see the occasional think piece that blames this on Tumblr or TikTok or Gen Z or millennials, but we can find it in our culture, in our movies, and all throughout history.
Lana Del Rey. Fucking Lana Del Rey.
It looks at adversity with a romantic gaze, and it is why people still think they have to suffer for their art. It's why most Oscar bait movies are just 2-hour-long displays of suffering, trauma, and or discomfort. There are artists who write about pain, and there are writers who exploit.
It's called heroin chic, honey. It's called heroin chic. That's what this is. Like Tumblr discovered heroin chic. Luke, pull up, just Google and type in heroin chic and show me what the first picture is. Mike Tuck says, actually, since the Ernie crew, when is Matt Forney going to? When is Matt Forney going to run Terror House Radio again? He had to. I gotta ask him that because he said he was gonna have me on at one point. I think he was gonna have me on as a joke, but at this point, that was pre-pandemic, and most of what I've joked about was actually a real fucking thing. I actually, most of the stuff I've talked about and predicted have come to pass. So I don't know. It's I kind of want to. I'll talk to Matt. I'll see if he wants to do it again.
So heroin chic, you mean?
Chic, yeah. CHIK. CHIC. Shit.
Yeah, it's a Calvin. First, there's Calvin Klein, and then it's this one. These are the first two images pop up.
People who are really skinny and look like they're fucking malnourished, aka vegans. They want attention and they don't want to give. Then it's like giving meth to a drug addict. It's smackhead. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's like
smackheads are.
It's the female equivalent of the pretty ones from the Mouse Utopian Project.
Ah! Yep, pretty much, Luke.
Which is really annoying.
Oh.
They all want to be respected. Art House Pain Factory. Please take me seriously. Lola is a movie partly about...
I want to fit in, Luke.
Make some good art then. Stop being mopey that your subpar art doesn't look good.
It's like Patrick Bateman. I want to fit in.
Made by a person who could never begin to understand financial strain. At least, that seems to be the main takeaway from the film, written and directed by Nicola Peltz-Beckham, a woman who, up until very recently, I only knew as the White Katara from a live-action movie that doesn't exist and that Dev Patel wasn't in, you must be mistaken. When the film was in production, when it first hit festivals, when it was released to streaming with a limited run in theaters, the conversation was...
I would smash that brunette. I would smash the brains out of that brunette back there. I would smash the fuck out of her. And that one, too. Just saying. But this is basically what they sound like, Luke. Here you go. Play it. On the side, just as a side tangent. Fuck, I get fucking hit with.
Oh, there's what's her name? Who's the actress's name? Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon. Holy shit. That's a blast from the past.
I'm trying to listen to the new Robert Palmer tape, but Evelyn, my supposed fiance, keeps buzzing in my ear.
First, any leave events. We'll get any leave events. And we'll have to get someone to videotape. Patrick, we should do it.
Do what?
Get married, have a wedding.
No, I can't take the time off work.
He's like me. A workaholic.
Well,
truly a man after my own heart.
Yeah, I don't have that. That's totally me life because you're not a murderous psychopath.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
I
mean, I'm tempted to be I'm tempted to be a psychopath, but I'm too lazy.
That's the breaks, isn't it?
I'm too intelligent to know it's going to be. I'm intelligent enough to know. I'm so in touch with my emotions that I want to do it, but I'm intelligent enough to know I could never get away with it. It's too much work.
Keep playing it because I want to fit in.
Your father practically owns the company. You can do anything you like, silly.
I don't want to talk about it.
I hate that job anyway. See why you just don't quit.
Because I want to fit in.
Trying to listen to his fucking Walkman, lady. Leave him alone.
He's so that's like so. I mean, that looks like a teenager just listening to his music on his iPad.
Well, in a lot of ways, you have to understand. His style of life is our style of life, because of inflation and like things get better, right? He fucking had those people had like phones in the 80s, right?
All right, the big.
We all have phones. Keep playing back to what we were talking about originally.
Oh, yes.
Than what you or I will ever see in our lifetime to make a movie about a young working class woman struggling to make ends meet. This may surprise you, but my feelings on this are complicated. There's a lot more nuance needed than what I've seen in the dreaded discourse thus far. I've seen stories about poverty made by people with loads of money, and guys, these stories can be well done. Very well done. The first one that comes to mind is, of course, Bong Joon-ho, acclaimed director of Mother, Memories of Murder, and of course, Parasite.
You didn't come back to conclusion on your own, honey. That was something that some art house student taught you. You didn't come to that conclusion on your own. That is too fucking random.
It's a romanticism of the poverty class, or like the noble savage for the Marxist.
My Tuck says, and last night I did not talk to someone who knows what's actually going on. Russia, it's rare to meet someone in the sketcher. I don't know what that is, Luke.
Me neither.
Neither do I. But he's cool.
Form in 2019. It was an engaging, thoughtful, and unsettling dissection.
I should have watched Parasite to figure out what the heck is all about.
Parasite?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Parasite. Which one is that?
2019. The movie that we're talking about.
Oh God.
Now we're disparity in South Korea. Most people can agree that it's brilliant, and that Bong Joon-ho is one of the richest men in South Korea with a net worth of $35 million.
Oh, the irony of that.
Even ignoring his current financial status, Bong said he grew up in middle class, meaning the poverty depicted with the Kim family in Parasite is not a level of poverty he could personally understand. But in what way does that take away from the greatness of the film?
Everything, because it's not sincere. Kamala Harris pretending that she's black now.
It's Malcolm in the Middle, isn't it, Luke? It's like lower middle class, working class family, right? I mean, Malcolm in the Middle at the end of the day was like the most accurate example of I'd say lower working class, lower middle class, working class family in the 2000s. It really was.
Personally, I don't think it takes anything away, and he did draw from real-life experiences. In his 20s, he was the tutor suddenly enfolded in the lives of the exorbitantly wealthy, and it was an experience that stayed with him long enough to explore another story. That's what writing is all about in the end. I always think it's interesting when people see any movie about class post-Parasite, and they make the claim that the movie fails at depicting class disparity.
Post-Parasite, like it's a goddamn epic.
So...
Like post-COVID or something.
Or post-Godfather. No, it's more like post-Godfather or post-fucking Avatar. Oh, poor Star Wars. God help us. Or post-Evangelion.
Parasite for rich people. Because, well, rich people made Parasite, and it was great. I say all of that to say I don't think it's impossible for a wealthy person to write a story about class struggle and or poverty. In general, I think it also depends on what kind of wealth they have, how much research they do, and how willing are they to broaden their viewpoint. I'll use one of my favorite shows as an example. Logan Roy is the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. His family will never go hungry. For generations upon generations, they will never know the poverty and the hunger that he experienced as a child. His children could never and would never understand that world. They will never know or understand, for
It's
example,
sad that she's someone's daughter, like a lamb to a slaughter. But honestly, I'd still hit it if I could.
How much is a gallon of milk?
What?
How much is a gallon of milk?
I don't know. I mean, who the fuck knows, Dad? Literally, no one knows. Who gives a shit?
Ray! How much is a gallon of milk?
Fuck, it's COVID. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? How much is a gallon of milk, Luke?
I mean, this did play between 2018 and 2023.
Oh my God.
I'm surrounded by snakes and fucking morons!
Kendall Roy probably couldn't write an authentic story about poverty, but
I love this actor. He played the that ranting writer in adaptation. He was fun.
He played fucking William Stryker in fucking X-Men. He'll always be Stryker.
And Roy probably could. Lola isn't just a movie about poverty from someone who is rich. It's a movie about poverty from someone who could never understand what financial suffering looks like and doesn't make space to try to understand. Nicola said she wanted to challenge her perspective, and I think that's what all writers want to do and should do. But while watching, it was hard to discern where that challenge actually was, or if it was there at all. Because Lola...
I should watch this movie to see how disconnected it feels.
I kind of want to watch it just to, like... It seems like a comfort movie, to be honest with me.
It's going to feel like Marxist propaganda. It's going to like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. And it's like, I wonder how much degree that's going to be in there when I watch it.
fucking Lana Del Rey in its consequence have been a detriment to mankind. Ugh.
Lola doesn't have anything to say, like, say, Parasite. It also doesn't offer a slice-of-life glimpse, like, say, Andrea Arnold with her films like Wasp and Fish Tank. I don't want to talk about American Honey right now. It's kind of just
Wasp.
there.
Of
It feels
course,
more like a
it's
movie
white
about
Anglo-Saxon Protestants, right? Fuck.
poverty from someone who looks at poverty as fascinating in a way that feels ghoulish and morally bankrupt. Where most writers would try to tell a good story with full characters and effective emotional overtures, Peltzbeckham settles for writing a story about suffering as if a story about suffering automatically makes it good. The thing that stuck out to me when I first watched Lola is that the titular character is the blankest slate of a human being. Outside of trying to take care of her younger gender non-conforming sibling Arlo, there's so little to hold on to.
Oh my god!
What does she...
Who the fuck is these movies for? I don't even watch TV anymore, so like I never get ads for this type of crap. Do you watch TV, Luke?
What's TV?
What's TV? That is the most Gen Z answer I've ever heard in my life. And you're not Gen Z.
Nope.
So a gallon of milk.
But I remember TV, and every time I watch it nowadays, it's just so slow. Like I want to go down to the menu and pick up the speed.
So a gallon of milk is apparently $2.25.
Oh, that all?
It's not that much. This is from Wally World. I can remember it was like $4. I don't know. Like, that was like when I was a kid. So I don't know if they all had more purchasing power or what the fuck it was. Maybe it was Safeway. It was Safeway.
Does she hate? What are her flaws? What are her best qualities? What's her sense of humor? Does she have a sense of humor? I watched the story unfold with only one positive thing to say, and only one thing I know about the character.
She has bitchin' fucking hair makeup.
Beautiful. I can't even say Peltzbeckham wanted for this movie to be about abject poverty when it seems like the primary goal was to focus on her beauty. There are scenes where Lola will be talking to someone and the camera lingers on her face significantly longer than it does on any other actor. And on one hand, it's like, yeah, she's gorgeous, so it makes for a great visual. But on the other, her expression is completely blank most of the time. And I'm guessing it's because she's also trying to pose.
There's also a photo posted of herself crying with the intent to share awareness about mental health. Pose really aesthetically pleasing sadness.
Oh my god. Fuck it.
Like
these women are fetishizing this shit, dude.
Not resting B face, it's just her face is stuck that way, isn't it?
I would still hit on her, but like she has to drop the whole mental illness victim narrative.
You hit on her, she'll probably tear your lungs out.
Not if I look at her in her eyes.
No, she just do it out of reflex because that's her natural response to things.
Oh, bullet till the hunter becomes the hunted, Luke.
Look at her, she's stunning. But what does any of this tell me about Lola? Lola's beauty is the most we get to know about what kind of person she is. The movie begins with her doing her makeup, and I actually think that it could be a nice place to start, especially for a character who has so little control of her life. Her need to look amazing at every waking moment could say something about her desperately clamoring for control of a life that is increasingly chaotic.
She's one-dimensional, dude! That's all that is! One-dimensional fucking trash, white trash. What it is.
Are you familiar with the game of Class of 98? Or 97?
What the? No, but tell me about it.
But basically, it's like a it's like it's sub like a anime dating sim, except rather than having a romantic relationship, you're following the life of a horribly depressed high school girl. Like it's like a stereotype of a high school girl that could have only existed in the 90s, and there's illusions that it has multiple endings, and one of the endings is one of the nerds goes on a rampage and shoots up the school.
Holy shit! Columbine?
There's one particular line, like she has a conversation, like she's having a conversation with her mom, and she's like infuriated that no one's really taking like feminism seriously. Is it whatever happened to feminism, mom? And the mom says, "Kid, I don't know woman who actually takes feminism seriously. We work, we talk, we vote. It's just something it's just a fun thing to say."
Yeah, that's feminism in a nutshell. It's basically just a fucking, it's a grab and have a ding dong. I'll give a piece of chance.
Just find it somewhere, anyway.
The abusive monster, whose sleazy boyfriend, especially leering of Lola, comes in and out of the house as he pleases. Arlo, who Lola loves dearly, is left to fend for himself when she's out working 2 jobs in order to save up and move away. Her boyfriend, Malachi,
what the fuck is this? I've never seen this shit before in my life. I kind of want to watch just to fucking riff on it, to be honest. She's working 2 jobs to take care of someone else's fucking kid. And she's like buying makeup. Like, what the fuck are we training our daughters to be like? Welfare queens? What the fuck?
Oh yeah, someone made an animation of the Class Class 09. That's what I'm trying to have. Like Class 9 anime trailer. Let's see if I can post on the. Let's see if I can. And this basically is the dialogue of all the interactions you get.
Oh god, what is Class 09? What did you show me, Luke?
Is this what cam girls feel like? I think cam girls do a little more than we did.
But at least they get paid. We had to flirt with that weirdo for free.
No, we lost a bet. That's not free, it's just hoeing pro bono.
Why would you put up flirting with Jeffrey in the first place?
Oh, so you thought she could steal that hot dog roller?
No, but...
just that whole class yesterday.
Wow, Jeffrey, your Naruto drawings are so good. Ew.
That wasn't even the worst part. People had to watch us do that.
Plus, he probably won't leave me alone for like a month now. He's gonna
I'm
go
glad
home
I
and
was
video games and
KO'd
make
for this whole
creative
fucking
characters of us.
thing.
Yeah, he'll kill us in Grand Theft Auto.
You can make characters in Grand Theft Auto?
Do I look like a bitch who would know?
You get the idea.
I kind of want to watch this now, dude. Like, out of nostalgia. Like, I legitimately wish we could go back to, like, pre-2008. Because after 2007, 2008, something happened. I don't know what happened in 2008. Like, it's like American Graffiti. Where the fuck were you in 2007, 2008? Leave it in the comment below.
Wasn't Barack Obama elected?
Yeah. That's when all hell broke loose, you know?
Before the movie starts, spends the first half of the movie trying to get back on her good side by doing any and everything she asks for, including supplying her with free drugs, feeding her addiction that's growing worse by the day. Her best friend Lavina, played by Raven Goodwin, is always there for her, which is great for Lola, but terrible.
So that's the Duff.
That's the diversity hire right there.
No, the designated ugly fat friend.
The Duff? What the fuck is the Duff? How do you even know what the Duff is?
It was the name of a movie, and I just remembered it.
It's precious, but that's just me.
For the movie because it reduces her to the role of an emotional support black friend, an essential ingredient for anyone trying to get people to take them more seriously in a given field. For real though, have you ever noticed how, depending on how the protagonist is supposed to be perceived, the story will give them a black best friend that doesn't function as anything other?
Yeah, the magical Negro, right?
The magical Negro, Luke.
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what it is. And here's the thing. I guess based on what these are, they're like, I guess Walmart fucking... She's working for Walmart, I guess. She's way too cute. Look, she's way too beautiful to work at Walmart. What she needs is a guy who's going to court her, take care of her. The problem here is she's not that type of woman, is she?
Sign. Like I said, in a better movie, we might have explored Lola's need to control every aspect of her appearance, her weight, her clothes, her makeup, as the only thing she feels she can actually control in a world that is just out of her hands. But this is Lola. It is not a better movie. So instead of being a worthwhile insight into her personality, it is a tired example of the same thing we've seen for centuries. Sad, beautiful white girls. Tragic and fabulous. Depression. But make it sexy.
I'm in a sexy French depression.
The thing I noticed
Heroin chic. That's what it is. It's heroin chic. Because, you know, black girls can't afford that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, beatnik kind of mentality, right?
Yeah. It's like, you don't understand, man. We're not into like that. We're not into that type of counterculture, man. We just want to leave alone and be our own devices, man.
We can't do that, man. That's discipline. They kept telling him he can't go boo boo bat bat boom. I'd like a discipline. I think I see the problem.
Indeed.
Oh,
we
don't believe in rules. We gave them up. We became crazy beatniks.
God.
Let's see. What else we got?
Of eating disorders, of depression on screen is that most of the people who are depicted are young women, always thin, always white, and always gorgeous. Older women, women of color, men, you usually don't see them folded into that romantic gaze at Tumblr/TikTok. And I find
because they're bums. We don't get to look good while we're fucking poor. We're too busy fucking actually trying to make a fucking dollar. These women who like have like, oh, I'm so poor because I bought, you know, Dolce & Gabbana or fucking, you know, lingerie by fucking Victoria's Secret or something along those lines, or fucking what's it, not Balenciaga, what the fuck is it called? Balenciaga? Yeah, that's the one. One with the pedophiles. They're too busy buying that shit, Luke.
Have you ever noticed
No
most
joke.
coming-of-age stories about black girls have a tendency to be about their suffering or their brutalization, with a much maligned, deservedly so, Precious being the most famous example. Despite the suffering experienced by a character like Precious, you would never see her in those TikToks sent to Lana Del Rey, nor would you ever see gifs of her crying. To be clear,
Sent to
sadness
Lana Del Rey?
shouldn't be.
You actually sent your fucking TikTok to Lana Del Rey. What do you, Luke? You know, there are people who like really like fetishize Arnold Schwarzenegger unironically, and they do it because they like have no masculine role models. What type of woman would send a fucking TikTok to Lana Del Rey? What the fuck are you like? Summertime sadness, I guess. I don't know.
Be romanticized. None of it should be romanticized. But I do think it's interesting how the sad girl aesthetic must fit into this mold of Eurocentric beauty, always adjacent to thinness and whiteness, as if the sadness of beautiful girls is the only type of sadness worth investigating. Despite how prolific movies about sad black girls are, for example, you would never see them turn up in these aesthetically pleasing videos that are just visual forms of suicidal ideation.
Oh, is that what this is all about, Luke? It's about looking sexy while being poor. So white girls look sexy while they're being poor. So all they have to do is put on eyeliner, and then they look sexy.
Noble savage nonsense, I swear. It's like Karl Marx trying to romanticize the poor person he could never be because he would never be because these poor people work for a living.
Yeah, and then they had this fetishization of oh well, it's a white girl thing. Because I'm like, no, it's not. It's trailer trash shit.
It's like I mean, but no, it's aliens trying to figure out. It's like aliens trying to figure out how poor people live. It's like rich people trying to figure out how poor people live, or trying to sympathize with poor people. It's like what's that thing that Am Carolla says? Rich people overcompensate trying to understand what the poor people.
Yeah, they want to unlearn their false consciousness and understand what it's like to be a proletariat who lives by paycheck to paycheck, right?
Here we go. Here's some beatnik stuff.
Person did on a date, but I had to settle for Judy. Judy, you've got a date with Cassius tonight, right?
A date? Mom and Dad dated, Dougie. Dating when I was bell bottoms.
But you're wearing bell bottoms.
Don't get smart.
I hate beatniks, man. They're like hipsters for boomers.
Yeah, social justice warriors aren't afraid of showing off their wealth.
Yeah, they're fucking, what do they call them? Not cosmopolitans. What's the term? Not beatniks. I'm trying to think of the term. It's like an artsy type of person.
What's it called?
You know the term.
I can't think of it.
Not cosmopolitan. What's it called? I'll think of it. Keep going.
Oh, Eurotrash?
Not you. Oh, if only. No, I was thinking more in terms of Bohemian.
Oh, yeah.
Bohemian. Yeah, the Bohemian types. You know the type.
Yeah.
The type of people who are like troubled artists, who would like fetishize like killing themselves in their 20s.
No one understands my work, even though I don't make any work. My genius will always be recognized.
I want to be just like Jim Morrison, man. Oh. Mike Tuck says...
the people who actually think that Kurt Cobain is a role model.
Or God help you, freaking his woman, what's her name? Fucking Blondie. Fuck, what's her name? Kurt Cobain's wife. At the time.
What was her name? I forget.
Nobody knows her name. Fuck. But Mike Tuck says, I was in middle school at the time, and basically Obama brought identity politics mainstream and made it fashionable to cry racism every time he had criticism. Honestly, Obama was the worst thing that could have happened to my country. I agree with you on that. He also says, Mike Tuck also says, these people would be humbled if they were sent to the third world. I'll tell you a story about that since we're talking about nostalgia as well.
Oh, Courtney Love, that's who it is.
Courtney Love. Yeah, imagine Courtney Love trying to emulate Courtney Love. That's disgusting. I mean, at that point, fucking Kurt Cobain is a fucking role model, isn't he?
Look a certain way. Rue might turn up in such a video, but but Precious wouldn't. Overall, I think the sad girl genre has so much to unpack, from the romanticized aspect to some of the racial implications. That's not what this video is about, but I know I'll never do a video about it, so I just had to bring it up as a quick segue. But back to the movie, whatever. Hal Spectum doesn't care to give her main character any personality outside of looking beautiful and being tragic. As she restocks the shelves at her day job with melancholy, all you can think is that she looks beautiful. As she starts her shift at the
He's
strip club, all you
stalking
can
us.
think is that she
Oh, she's a stripper.
Yeah, she's a stripper. And I'll be frank with you, I would court a woman like that. I would gladly court a woman just by her beauty. I really would. But at the same time, she has to have no kids. So you drop that little shit off in the fucking, adoption agency. Then, like, legitimately, that's somebody you would pick up. And even then, it's because she's Hollywood material, right? Not on principle, but just because she's Hollywood fucking white trash. I don't know.
For nothing. You always say, ooh, I'll get you later, but later never comes. And what really bothers me is you pretend you're this deep guy who loves women for their souls when all you do is date bimbos. Yeah, I date women for their bodies, but at least I'm honest about it. I don't buy them a copy of Catcher in the Rye and then lecture them with some 7th grade interpretation of how Holden Caulfield is some profound intellectual. He wasn't. He was a spoiled brat. And that's why you like him so much. He's you. God, you're pretentious.
I hate pretentious people. Basically, Squidward. Yes, yes, Mike.
This movie looks pretentious.
Well, it's designed. It's designed specifically, Luke, with academics in mind. I'd like to thank the Academy.
Oh, just like how *Handmaid's Tale* is actually 50 Shades of Grey for highly intellectual leftists who are into S&M. Or specifically, actually, I don't want to say that word.
Say it, motherfucker.
It starts with a C, U, and C, K.
I can't spell. I'm too drunk. But keep going.
She cries over the death of Arlo. Also, I feel like there's something to be said here about the use of dead queer bodies to further her development. She looks amazing. That beauty paired with a very obvious lack of substance is what stands out because it makes two things very obvious. The first thing is that poverty is kind of exotic to Pelt Spectrum. She writes about her main character careening from tragedy to tragedy in the same gleeful and giddy way that a child talks about what flavors they want in an ice cream shop. It is unfocused, untethered by rhyme or reason, and is a frenzied tour of what she deems to be the hot spots of class struggle and trauma. Feels like she's almost a tour guide for the elite, pointing at poverty and going, isn't that so sad? And isn't it cool that I get it now? She took on this subject matter for her first feature film because she wanted to challenge her perspective, and that's great, but she definitely avoids any chance she could have had to delve deeper into Lola as a person. Let's forget Lola's circumstances, forget class,
knock her up.
Forget poverty. Who is Lola?
Knock her up and it'd be more realistic. Knock her up and be more realistic. And that's not me. That's not Mr. Horny talking. Knock her up and be more realistic. How long do we have into that video? How far are we into that?
Oh, halfway.
Oh my god. All she says is that I'm pissed off because the white girl is pretty and she's poor. That's all that is. And I'm like, dude, I guarantee you, anytime they've tried to fucking make a video or a movie and they have a white girl in it, not even a white girl in it, it's whenever they try to make a movie, they're going to have a romanticized version of reality.
House in Manhattan, or it's a place in Malibu, but it's so easy just to pretend like you're a fan of the little man and the working man, and a lot of it is overcompensation. A lot of it is guilt, essentially. These guys live a life of privilege, and they overcompensate, worrying about those who don't have what they have. And they say, hey, it's high time, rich people pay their fair share. Look, they're free to pay whatever they like. I know all these guys.
Here you go. If you want to actually see a movie that I remember from way back in the day that actually, talks about poverty and the struggles of the working class, here you go.
What Hollywood? What is this?
This is
what is this?
It's about a drag queen. I remember watching this on the Hallmark Channel back in the 2000s.
Oh, speaking of which, have you heard of I just recently was told of a new movie that came out called American Anthem. And
American Anthem.
And from what I gather from the trailers, it's about a straight drag queen rodeo.
As opposed to a queer drag queen rodeo.
Yeah, apparently this guy, he's a cowboy, typical that. Apparently the gimmick is it breaks all expectations. It's like, oh, so it's a gay homosexual story. Oh no, he's straight. He just likes dressing up like a queen for rodeos.
Girl, let's see if I can find the trailer to this thing.
Oh, which one?
This Here we go. Here we go. This is what This has more fucking like. There's an art. Oh, I don't even know if you could show this. This is fucking. It's just so old. It's 2000, right? This is. I mean, she's talking about shit that I'd never heard of. I'm gonna bring up stuff that you never heard of because I'm just older than you and I know more about the world. Here we go.
Welcome, if you please, to the penthouse's oldest treasure, Holiday Heart. Everyone loved Holiday Heart.
Have you ever seen a drag show?
No, I haven't. I can't say I have seen any of such thing.
There is a dive bar called Charlie's, and it's effectively that, and it is one of the most surreal experiences. It's like going to a strip club, except you feel creepy all the way down your spine. It's like, oh, like you see this guy pretending to be a girl, lip syncing a song that she's singing, and people are just handing dollars to her like it was a strip show. Like, oh, make it stop.
You know, as long as she makes some profit, hey,
and
I'm not going to bash
And they're
her.
obviously not even. I mean, the thing about obviously drag people are not very attractive even when they're dressed up.
You know, it's funny you say drag people, Luke. You don't say drag queens. You say drag people.
What if there's a female version I'm not aware of?
All right.
His life was always full, but his home was always empty. Then, a little girl entered his life.
Holiday! Come on, Muscle Man!
And nothing would ever be the same.
Oh, baby, we all got a story to tell.
Don't worry, I wasn't about to tell you, man.
Mom, I got my own bedroom, my own bedroom. We're not going back, are we?
You know what's funny is I know more. I know this shit exists, but at the same time, how do I know about this shit? I mean, in a lot of ways, I have a unique perspective on the world. Like, you didn't know about this shit. I only know about this because of fucking, you know, having limited cable access, and the shit was showed to me. And then I remember it because it was like African American history. This was actually played during African American History Month.
Oh,
I don't know what.
Why? Do they even like it? Like, does anyone like? I mean, how is this story even remotely relatable? I mean, unless you live in certain parts of Phoenix, the average black person is not going to engage with this.
Well, this was back in the 2000s, so this is back in, I would say, for the fucking normies in fucking California, right?
So basically, this was for the blacks, what Brokeback Mountain was for whites.
I wouldn't go that far, honestly, but this was on, I think it was BET, I believe, Black Entertainment Television, if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's almost a caricature of the world that we know today. I mean, listen to how they're advertising to it.
You need to let her stay here. My mother needs to stay away from him.
Happy birthday, Mickey!
To win. I mean, I usually have a list of wishes, but we got everything.
I wish that I could stop wishing.
So this one has money. Maybe. He just lives and deals in his limo.
Oh.
What was that? Wait, you just super slapped her daughter just now?
Well, she's a drug addict in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah. It's one of those instances where, like, the single mother becomes a drug addict, and then, like, the virtuous fucking drag queen comes and saves the day.
So is the daughter like a troublemaker or what?
The daughter's a daughter.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so all she needs is a father figure, and the drag queen's more of a father figure than the mother.
Anyway, sometimes you'll find
She's been gone for 2 days.
that to get by in this world,
Worried about Nikki? Oh, now you're worried. Tell that person staring at you that you love her.
all you need is a little heart.
The actor who played him, who is that?
He does seem familiar.
Yeah, he does. Seems. Where have I seen him? Let's see.
I've seen him for something in the early 2000s. I remember that.
Vig Rames. Where have I heard it? Where have I?
Vig Rames.
What's his name?
No.
Oh, Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. Marcellus Wallace.
Marcellus Wallace. No. This is what happens when Butch didn't say them. Fuck. Oh, holy.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
isn't that like a kind of a joke in Hollywood that in order to get like to be a success, you have to go through like a drag phase to prove that you're willing to do anything for the fame? I think Channing Tatum had to do that. Not in a movie, but I think he had to do that.
Fucking same thing with John Cena, right? I mean, and even to a certain degree, like fucking Hulk Hogan, right?
Although I'm not familiar with that though, but you know, it's World Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, honestly, I'm more of an NWO guy.
Sing to me, Holiday.
Ving Rhames, Alfre Woodard, Holiday Heart.
The fact that I remember this shit, like, I don't know why I remember this stuff and not my multiplication tables. I'm sure this at some point will become useful in some regard. I don't know. Mike Tuck says, basically Squidward. He also says, yep, fair share is BS. Yeah, that is creepy. Yeah, Hot Abyssal Blood Gem in Bloodborne. I haven't played Bloodborne yet, but if all the Souls games, I'd play Bloodborne. Fuck, what the hell's it called? Elder Ring. Elder Ring literally virgin shames you. You're maidenless, Luke. Actually, are you maidenless, Luke?
What?
You're maidenless, right?
Meaning single?
I guess that's what it means in Elden Ring.
Oh, I tried to watch Elden Ring, and it is I don't know what the story is, and it's too it's too abstract and boring for me to care about it. I mean, Kaz Kawatal was more engaging than that.
What? Really?
I tried to watch the story just for try to get the plots of the details of the story events, and they don't make any sense because they use pronouns and adjectives for these broad general ideas that convey like a whole concept of a story, and you just don't know if you're like waiting for something more descriptive, more detailed, and it never comes up.
You know, honestly, I really think the whole Dark Souls game is really just intellectual masturbation. I really do think that a lot of the Souls games are.
Well, the Souls game is one thing, but I think that I don't know the story of Dark Souls, but the Elden Ring doesn't make any sense.
Well, Dark Souls is basically you jump into it and you think it's like Hunter of the Reckoning, and then you come out of it, it's like Lovecraft.
Oh, okay. So it's like you're surviving Lovecraft, or you are a victim of Lovecraft.
It's like you go into it with werewolves, zombies, vampires, and witches, and you come out of it with like eldritch horrors and shit like that, and like fish people.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, like when you start getting to human, like there's actually a scene in it where you become a how shall we say it? You become an eldritch thing, I guess, like a squid person, a squid baby. It's degenerate shit, you know?
Right.
Let's see what else we got here. Alrighty. Because I honestly don't honestly, the only reason I care about Elden Ring is because the thoughts I watch on Instagram are into Elden Ring. Here we go, Luke.
Well, I guess the gameplay is fun though, because you don't really need to just know the story.
I've heard, honestly, I kind of want to buy Elden Ring just to see what the gameplay would be like. Because I don't know enough about the gameplay loop. All I know is it's supposed to be like the 3D equivalent of Castlevania, like the old Nintendo games, where if you weren't like pixel perfect, you'd be fucking killed instantly. Here you go, Luke.
What's this?
Hello, my friends, and welcome back. For our first news today, we go to Russia, where an oppositionist, the biggest oppositionist after Navalny, Vladimir Kara-Murza, yeah, that's his name, Kara-Murza, cool name, was released from prison amongst other United States citizens and German citizens. Vladimir, of course, is not a citizen of either, but he was released in prisoner swap Russia got back their spies from Germany, the US, Poland, and some other countries. And the US and Germany got back their citizens and some Russian political prisoners and opposition leaders, including Vladimir Kara-Murza. Who is Vladimir Kara-Murza? Many people, most people were talking about Navalny, so not many people maybe know him. I'll read you a little paragraph. The journalist and Post contributor has long been outspoken critic and dissident in Russia, talking about Vladimir now, repeatedly condemning Russian war in Ukraine, calling for sanctions against Moscow, and accusing Russian President Vladimir Putin of running a murderous dictatorship. So a very brave dude, because in Russia, well, you know you're going to prison for it, but he was still verbally and publicly outspoken against Putin, against the regime, and against the war in Ukraine. In May, Kara-Murza was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for commentary for passionate columns written under great personal risk from his prison cell.
Which doesn't mean jack shit, honestly. I hate to be the guy, but like Pulitzer Prize are fucking like participation trophies at this point. They kind of are, sadly. But skip ahead a bit, Luke.
To where?
About 5 minutes in, halfway in. There we go.
Ja, Luke, Xenia, Andrea, Paul, Alsa, Oleg, Sasha, Dieter, Kevin, Rico, Patrick, Herman, Vladimir. I apologize, I butchered their names non-intentionally here, but this is who Russia gets in exchange for journalists, human rights activists, and opposition activists, former United States Marine. Western countries give Russia Vadima, Artema, Anna, Mikhaila, Pavla, Romana, Vladislava, and Vadima. Again, 2 Vadimas. From the United States, from Poland, Norway, Slovenia, and Germany. These are either spies for Russia who have been spying, or all-out criminals who have been caught by the international police in the West. And now, my friends, we're going to watch a video when these Putin's goons return to Russia. And there's a video. Putin went to greet them, and there are a few points to be made, because if somebody returns to the West, they return to the land of freedom and democracy in every sense of the way compared to Russia. When people return from the Western prison to Russia, then they go, how do you say, from the frying pan into the fire? Is this how you say it in English? The thing is,
yeah,
in the Soviet Union, usually when Soviets were...
If you go to the Soviet Union and you get caught, you're basically on house arrest, and eventually they'll decide whether or not you're useful or not. And if you're not useful, they'll shoot you in the back of the head. Why have loose ends, right? So a lot of these guys who've been caught, they're not going to end up like Anna Chapman, right? Anna Chapman was like a Victoria's Secret model who had the benefit of basically being able to be caught by the United States, but also being beautiful enough that she could probably continue with her career afterwards, right? These people are going to get disappeared by Putin. Yeah.
Traded back. They were put to prison, or they were shot, or tortured in any other way to find out what they said to the West, or if they gave any information. So these guys, I mean, look at their faces. They're returning. And here is Putin. Yeah. You're shaking his hand, and tomorrow he will poison you. That's how it is. You never know. This is not... I would say they are safer in a Western country, in a Western prison, than free in Russia. Because it's Russia. I mean, you get poisoned. If you're in any way in the radar of Putin, if you have been a prisoner in the West, perhaps the West hired you as a double agent. It's a possibility. Okay, let's say you were a spy for Russia. The West put you in prison for spying for Russia. Then they make you a deal, a very good deal. They pay you good money. They say they would take your family to the West if you spy for them now for 3 years or something like that. You know, the CIA stuff. Or whatever the movies. Who is to say that these guys are now not working for the West? Putin doesn't know it, and Putin, like any other dictator in the world, is very alone and
next
paranoid.
again,
These guys
Putin did some monkey business. Well, he's always doing monkey business. It's in his nature, Mike. You can't, like, legitimately. He can't help himself. It's in his nature. But, you know, again, a lot of these spies who got brought back, they're definitely going to be interrogated. I mean, they're not going to like, if you ever, like, I can't imagine what happened. Like, if they were in the Soviet Union, there'd be, like, a certain, like, expectation. But in Russia today, like, unless you bow before hail to the chief of that is, you know, the monkey boy, you're basically at the point, you're at the mercy of whoever happens to you, right? You might just fall off down a flight of stairs, or you might get thrown out a window. I don't know. Anyhow, Luke, we're about to close up here. Final thoughts?
Let's see, do I have one saved here? I think I had one saved here somewhere. Ah, yes. In my notes. Here it is.
No, I can't. I'm late for stuff, and I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
Relax, kid. You won't be late.
All right, everybody. Remember, take care of one another. Saving the West is